Hi, it's Martin from Martin's Engine Services. Just finished for the day and dragged all my stationary engines out yesterday. Have a little tinker with them. It was a nice day, and I thought today I'd start a couple of them up. First of all, I'm going to run my Petta PU8. You've seen a video. I've made a video about all these engines in the past, about the history of them and what I've done to them. Since I last made a video, I've actually changed the carburetor on this one for a slightly bigger unit. It's still not quite happy, and it still needs a bigger carb yet, but it's a little better. She is a little bit smoky, this old girl, as I did mention previously. It has suffered some corrosion to the bores, and there's not an awful lot I can do about it, and given it just gets fired up now and again for fun, I'm not too worried about it. So if you see any huge clouds of smoke out of it, don't worry, it's nothing serious. Just think Volkswagen Dieselgate. You can see an absolutely beautiful day here in Norfolk. Little willow trees coming out, daffodils, it's all very nice, grass looks very nice, most civilised. Right, that's enough of the nice bits. Anyhow, what I'm going to do, I shall fire it up, give it a run for a couple of minutes, I'll bring you back once it's running, because you won't be able to hear a single thing, because she's quite a noisy old girl. Show you it running for a couple of minutes, and then I'll switch that off and move on to one of the others. I'll be running two today. This D there is just going to be run in the next video. And I've got the Petta A1 over here, also going to be running in a short while of time. I'll run them one at a time, so I won't be able to hear myself think otherwise. Right, I'll just pause things for a minute and fire this old girl. I mean, she's pretty easy to fire up. So I've got my electric start on it and everything, so we do need a hand on the choke, a hand on the throttle, and one on the start button. So we'll be back in a moment when she's running. I'm actually going to try and fire it up while I'm recording. It might go. It was run about 10-15 minutes ago, so we'll give it a go and see what happens. Excuse the slightly sketchy wiring and the start switch and everything. It's all a bit improvised, but we'll give it a go. Right, stand by. Hey! That's it, she's run out of fuel. That strange squeaking noise you may have heard is nothing to worry about. It's actually the breather, crankcase breather, and for some reason it squeaks rather spectacularly as the engine's running and then slowing down. So just another little foible of the unit. As you can see, the smoke screen is quite impressive when you try and rev it up, but it doesn't really want to rev up because the carburetor on there simply isn't big enough for the job. I do have another carburetor lined up for it, which is actually off of a 1 litre Citroen Saxo. Maybe a tiny bit not period correct, but at least it'll make it run a lot better. I'd like to point out that absolutely no wildlife died during the filming of this, and the environment hasn't collapsed completely. The sun is still out and all the daffodils haven't fell over as shock. One particular thing one or two of you may have noticed is there's a piece of masking tape stuck on the bottom of the inlet manifold. This is because the main manifold has a hole drilled in the bottom each side to A, let fuel out, excess fuel out, and B, a little air in. This appears to be part of the function of the original style carburetor, but consequently this does upset the other carburetors tending to run a little bit lean. So my quick fix solution is, once you start it, stick a bit of tape over the hole. Maybe not quite technical way of dealing with it, but seems to get her going. Anyhow, I'm going to fire up the Petter A1 now. This has been run recently, so it may start off the handle straight away without any choke. Probably need to decompress it, but I'll give it a go and see what it wants to do. Let's run a bit of fuel through. I would actually run the Lister D today, but I've actually run out of fuel. I've had that thing running over there for an hour or so, fiddling around with that carburetor, and as is typical with that engine, it's drunk probably half a gallon of fuel already. Right, let's get this Petter onto compression. It's got plenty of compression. And away she goes, look at that. First turn of the handle. And there we go. Had to run it out of petrol to stop it because the on-off switch has decided not to work. Now, as typical, this engine normally runs absolutely beautiful and is completely flawless. But of course, when you want it to run nicely while you're videoing it, it plays up. You hear it coughing and splattering and missing. I think, possibly, I've had the carb apart and cleaned all that out and it seems okay. I have my suspicion that it may want the points cleaning, the gap checking. Of course, to do so is marvellous because you have to take the magneto off because, of course, the screws are hidden right inside there and there to get the cover off. So you've got to pull the magneto off to do so. So we'll have a look at that another day. It's not a major problem. But as you see, she does run sweetly. And no, this one doesn't smoke. Pleased to report. So tomorrow I'll hopefully fire up the old Lister G1 here. And definitely the Lister D. I've been doing a bit of work on the G1 over the weekend. Had a bit of spare time. Made a choke up. Very scientific. And made up a little throttle linkage. Just so we can, I've not linked it to the governor. This is just so it holds it in the idle position and I can rev it up if I want to. Very scientific. Even got a little bit carried away. Made a little brass handle for it. See, I've got the fan belt on there now. All the bolts are wired up, so we now have a cooling fan working. So it's proceeding rather nicely. And here is the carburettor that I'm going to be adapting to go on the PU8. So this is a Solex unit off of a Citroen Saxo, I think, or Peugeot 106 or similar, 1 litre. And I think this will be ideal for the job. I'll make up a little manifold and we'll sit it on there and that'll get it going. It's probably a little bit of an overkill carburettor really, but I was giving it free of charge and I thought, my friend of mine said, do you want this? And I said, oh, absolutely. He looked at me a bit weird and thought, what on earth do you want that for? And I explained it and he laughed and said, good heavens, you'll always find a use for everything. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, seeing a couple of the engines running. I'm sure a few people wondered if any of them did run at all, but there we go. I've proved 2 of them go. And the smoke is cleared now, so and the sun's still out. So I shall sign off for now and say tomorrow we'll have the D running and we'll get the G1 running. And this is quite a lovely old thing to watch run, this is, so please look out for that video. Anyhow, if you've got any questions, any thoughts or anything, please feel free to send me a message and please like and subscribe. It does all help the numbers and I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. Anyhow, thanks for watching and bye for now.